I just wanted to sound a note off here of how optimistic I am that we're having this conversation today. You know, we've been working on this. A lot of members have been working on this on both sides of the aisle because we recognize the importance of doing something that is pro-family and pro-worker in 2020. Here we are having this conversation. We know it's proven what paid family time off means. And everybody here has talked about it today, and I want to repeat how much in favor of this that I am, because I think in a 21st century workforce, we have to address the issues that are keeping people back from being able to get in and stay in the workforce because they need the benefit of being able to balance so many things at this time. I really do think it's a good thing that we're talking about the little tiny things when it comes to funding this, and that we have an opportunity to not only have your input, but to have a discussion up here about funding. And how do we make this work? And how do we keep this balanced? And I think that anytime members in a bipartisan way can have conversations about balancing funding and making this work and making it right and doing something that's pro-family and pro-worker, it's worth the time. And so I so much appreciate all of your time for coming here today. I do think that, you know, when we look at these one-size-fit-all government solutions and we look at top-down federal programs, I think that time and time again we've seen these big government programs fail. And they just don't live up to lofty promises. It just doesn't happen for one reason or another. They leave people behind and they leave taxpayers holding the bag. But I do think, because we have so much agreement on the principles of what we're all talking about, all of you on this panel and all of us up here sharing insights and passion and wanting to come to a conclusion here, I think, just personally, the Family Act that we're talking about does raise payroll taxes. That's a real issue. Because now we're talking about workers where they live, as if it's not hard enough to be able to balance all the bills and all these things. We're taking more money away before we're giving another benefit forward. And in the labor force right now, in my district in northern Indiana, we need 10,000 more workers today that we don't even have. So we've got contracts on hold, buildings on hold, expansions on hold, because we need more workers into the field. And so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, you know, I've been working on an approach as well that would increase access to paid family leave without crowding out existing benefits offered by employers with a public mandate. Last month, I spoke at the White House Summit on child care and paid family leave. I had a chance to talk with President Trump about the issue, and I appreciate the fact that the President and Ivanka Trump's leadership and their continued focus on moving this conversation forward. I think there are real great signs that we can see around this nation of we're coming together to do something that is a great thing for the American worker. We have a real opportunity to find common ground and paid medical leave to more workers without taking actions that will reduce family economic dependence, hurting small business, or interfering with employers and employees working together to find something that fits and is flexible and can be used by more people. Instead of raising taxes and imposing inflexible government mandates, I think what you're seeing here today is the beginning of a group that's willing to have conversations to move this forward and come to common ground. And Ms. Manning, I just wanted to hear a little bit more about some of the things you talked about earlier on what are we really doing when we're talking about taking and putting an additional payroll mandate on top of workers, especially at the low income level.
Certainly, thank you. And I think the discussion about how much the payroll tax will be is important. It's very difficult to make that cost projection, but in addition to the question of how much, we should also consider who bears that burden and who pays. It's a payroll tax. Payroll taxes by nature are regressive, meaning low-income people bear the burden, and these programs, the evidence shows, disproportionately benefit upper-income people. So I think a question for lawmakers should be, are we willing to take even $1 from low-income workers to fund a better work-life balance for upper-income?
I appreciate it. I got to stop there. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.